Let's talk a little bit about Six Nations. Pollock, baby.
Let's not.
Pollock, baby.
not.
What happened with England as they went down 42-21 to Ireland at home? This tournament is something else. Like, it's so good. The Six Nations is just so good. You just never know.
Wow. I mean, we have gone from saying England are red hot for World Cup contenders to be completely and utterly embarrassed at home by an Irish side under massive pressure. I said my boy struggled. Well, that's unfortunately what England looked like. They looked like boys against men. I don't know when it changed for England, but remember when they were struggling with their rush defence, and then they came down here and they sort of had worked it out, and they were quite hard to break down. Now their midfield defence was just like leaking a sieve. And they were just standing there waiting. I just don't know if they've changed their system or the communication's not there, because even for a number of those tries, if they had just run their rush defence, the ball wouldn't have got to the edge where it ended up to, I suppose, play its part. So defensively, 82%. So one-on-one tackles. I mean, at international level, that is really, really poor. But they just don't look connected in defence. And then on attack, well, they gave away, 22 turnovers. The Irish won 11 turnovers. So 33 times they're giving the ball back to an Irish team under pressure that was just, you could see from the outset when Jamison Gibson Park took that quick tap, it was like, man, him being put on the pine certainly put a rocket up. Him and Byrne were awesome. And so I don't know if being put on the pine is what motivated them, but they were massive. You know, like Byrne's big turnover in the corner, Jamison's speed of play. The Irish were certainly back to the Ireland that we've known, and an important way for them to bounce back to get their own confidence. And ideally, like, I know that everyone's been like, oh, Prendergast, Crowley, I think it's actually more, I've been big on this, Jamo ran the game. Do you know what I mean? Like, Jamison Gibson Park was the key cog that ran the game. Dupont does it for France. And it gives your 10, like a Crowley, time. And just says, yeah, you just keep doing that. And then when I want it. And took the pressure off. And you could see chasing down Marcus Smith at the end, the emotion of that. Like, they were just on. They were at another level. But it just shows you how hard international rugby is to do it week in, week out, because England just do not look like the same side.
It was amazing seeing Farrell get up out of his chair and just absolutely go for it when Smith got ran down by McCloskey, right?
Well, how good was McCloskey?
Yeah, really good.
Some great lines ran, and I don't know. Like, I didn't expect this. I thought England at home would get the job done, but they just were so passive, bro.
You look around, like what Farrell said at the start when they lost their first game, their intent, and he was pretty disappointed around what they were putting out in the effort areas. But look, I think the biggest thing, I think the attacking, like Jamison Gibson Park, like, I think that's probably one of the best test matches I've seen a nine ever play. The way that he controlled the game, I think there's actually a kick that he put him behind, makes the tackle, and then was able to make a breakdown turnover around those little effort areas, and you could see how much it kind of the energy it got for the Ireland players. But yeah, he was unbelievable. And I know we talked about Prendergast and Crowley, but like, if you're going to have Jamison who pretty much just runs it how Dupont does it in France, and it gives the guys like Crowley, or even Prendergast who is there, but I think Crowley probably stays on a little bit longer now, but it just gives him so much more freedom, and you don't have to worry about controlling the game. But I think the biggest thing that for this game, I thought the attack in that first 30 minutes, what the Irish team were able to do and being able to put this England team under pressure, was just the defence. The amount of times that they're able to stop this England attack, like I think Balcoon stops a try in the 62nd minute to be able to take him outside. You just see how many of the Irish players rush over to be able to give him a bum tap and be able to put a pat on the head of how big it was. McCloskey being able to chase down Smith in the 72nd minute. Jamison Gibson Park's tackle to be able to then get a breakdown turnover. I think the defensive area and what it showed and what they were able to put on the defensive effort was a big part of it. They had 7 breakdown turnovers as well, and big moments of when England were trying to be able to try and play on top of them, have the attack, be able to have 7 breakdown turnovers and big parts of that game. So the defensive effort I thought was outstanding from Ireland. I just think, to Jipper's point, England's defence is shocking, man. Like, they don't bring that line speed pressure anymore. The ability of the Irish to play on top of them, to be able to get the skill set, the tip balls. I think Van der Fleer went through, the number 8 went through. So, Yeah, I'm not too sure what's happened there, Jip, but their defence just looks very different from what we saw when they came to New Zealand, and I think that high line split which we've seen from them as well. But I think lastly as well, one point that I think England don't do very well with how their game plan is that if they are chasing games, that high error rate is going to happen because it's not part of their DNA. They love that pressure game. If it's really tight, they go to their contestable games out of their zone, and they play on top of teams when they're inside the other team's attacking zone. So yeah, they have shown the last 2 weeks, Jipper, that if they are behind, it doesn't look like the England that we have seen when it is nice and tight and they are playing from ahead.
And they tuck the ball, don't they? I mean, only 18 kicks. Like, when you're behind, you can't put your base game plan out the door and just risk everything. Like, I think they need to get that balance right because they are going to get behind, but they can't just run themselves out of it because obviously 22 turnovers and you're turning the ball over in your own half to a side that's full of confidence. It's good after bad. I don't know when it changed. Like, I feel like it's literally just the last 2 weeks after we had just waxed lyrically about them defensively. Like, it's just not their style. And I wouldn't say that the ball's coming like rapid speed, Bryn. Like, it was quick, but still enough to at least get up and in the face of Ireland, not just sit there and, I suppose, let them dictate terms when they want to release balls out wide or when they want to go through gaps. It was just, it was very uncharacteristic. I think they've got a lot to look at.
If you look at that first 30 minutes, I think I saw a stat, there was 9 clean breaks after 30 minutes, so it was in a lot of areas, whether it was just through the tip ball, through the middle of the field. And Chip, as a forward, if you're getting broken in the middle of that hard defence or just a little bit wide of the middle of the field, you've got two sides to attack through that good go forward ball. And then if you've got a really good edge attack, being able to play on top of teams, which with what we saw in McCloskey as well, his ability to be able to get over the advantage line, and Jamison being able to choose which way he wanted to go, he had it all on a string of being able to be really good around the decision making. So, I think the collision area, I think Jipper maybe, with their forward pack being able to stop this, get some breakdown turnovers. Like, they had 1 turnover in the whole game with Pollock and that loose forward trio. Do you know what I mean? So you look at Ireland had 7. So I think maybe the collision area and being able to really slow down that ball within the breakdown might be a better opportunity to be able to not be at that 82% and then being able to bring high lines with what we have saw from the English team previously.
Another noticeable thing in that game, Brynner, was the ref getting injured and Piatti going off the field. Have you ever played in a game where the ref has left partway through and when a new ref comes on, does a new filling out process happen?
I can't say off the top of my head it has happened, Ross, but I think... Yeah, it was tough to see. I think he walks off, brings both captains aside and says, "Good luck, men. I'm done. I've pulled my quad and I'm off." And then I think more so around it, it's maybe just a change of officiating. I think sometimes when you do have a different, different ref coming on, I think it was a little bit different. I think it was a little bit more free flowing within the first 20 minutes with the ref that was on, and then you've got to be able to adjust and being able to see a different ref. So yeah, I don't know about you, Jip, but I think maybe the officiating and being able to understand the ref is a little bit different with your preparation.
Every ref's different, so there's probably a feeling out period, but you're sort of in the flow of the game. They'll have some idea of who's on top, so it wouldn't take as long as a complete fresh game.
Yeah.
But it was, I just love it how he almost held court. He's just like, "Look, my quad's gone. Right, so you have a good game. Go well. Go well."
Get in there.
He's like, "Mate, this big scene." It's like, "No, just get off. No, no one cares about what injury you got. Just off you go." It's like he brought the captains in. I was like, "Oh, what's happening here?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's me quad. It's gone." He's like waiting for like a standing O. Oh man, it was so funny.
He's got emotional.
Oh, he's like, "Yeah." I was just like, what the hell is going on here?
He's obviously knows it on the big screen. He's like, "Yep, thanks, boys, I'm done," and limps off. And
when I've seen it previously, they just walk off. They're like, "Oh yeah," and the commentator's like, "Oh yeah, change of ref." They take the mic and stuff off, but no, it was like a reality TV show. It was ridiculous.
We did see it in the World Cup a few years ago, right?
Jaco Piper.
Yeah. He was got.
It's happened a couple of times in Mitre 10 Cup as well. Or whatever it's called, Bunnings, NPC.
Yeah.
One of them.
Strap him up, get him back on, walk it off. Here we go. So the France-Italy games happened after this recording, which we do on a Sunday night. That game's Monday morning, New Zealand time, so we won't be talking about that game. But the Wales-Scotland game, once again, we got a game we didn't necessarily see coming. Wales looked like they might win that game.
Oh, they should have. They should have. Like, they will just be ridiculing their kickoff. Like that's what turned the game. That's what got the belief. 58th minute to get the bounce. But if there's ever a first five in international rugby that's behind, you don't go and sleep on them. As Finn Russell, like, he is going to try something, and it was just picture perfect. I couldn't believe it was happening. Even the Welsh player was like, oh, and then he's panicking, and then he sees it, and oh God, the no good, no good. It was tough to watch because you felt for the Welsh because they defended at 90%. I think it's the first time they've been at 90% for, 20 odd test matches defensively. So Scotland gave them every opportunity. Scotland played like they did against Italy, where they thought it was just going to be a 60-0 drubbing. They ran 13. They had 13 passes to every kick. I think they only had 13 kicks. So Finn Russell, again, probably from an attacking point of view, played a lot between the 222s or between the halfway or the 240s at least, just thinking it was going to be what's happened with the Welsh previously. And they stood the test. And then I couldn't believe it. Even when they got a yellow card, they scored points. And they looked really good in that first half. But it's just, I love the Six Nations because it is actually the best advert for how hard international rugby is to go week in, week out. But the Scots, they found a way to win. As you know, probably didn't deserve it, but they found a way. But I think that kickoff is what decided it. You knew as soon as they scored that try, they got in touching distance. It was you could just feel for the Welsh. It was like this last 20 minutes is not going to look pretty. And Scotland made hard work of it, but they eventually got there.
Brynner, so the ball gets kicked long. Who is supposed to be there? Who wasn't there when they should have been?
Oh, everybody needs to be there. I think you got to be set. I think it's more so your winger, and maybe your lifting back pod if you're in that kind of position. But it'd be more so your winger that would be in that space. So, just in a loose forward. Sorry, but you just go. I just remember watching it. And I was just like, there's just no way you can sleep, especially when you haven't won many games. All those little 1%ers are just so massive. And like Jipper said, when it comes to Finn Russell, when you're down, you got to be on. The stay on mindset around everything when it comes to everything, especially when you're not winning. It doesn't matter what it is. Any of those kind of 1%ers, you need to be able to be on. So, unbelievable kick. And even them scoring that try after 27 phases, Finn Russell being able to score a try as well. So, had 2 involvements to be able to score 14 points when it came to the Scottish, but I think it just does show for Wales. Look, it is tough for them being able to attack, but look, they were able to being able to attack. And I think the biggest thing that I saw here, the difference was the turnovers. Scotland had 13, which isn't actually a high error rate, but they only had 4 turnovers for Wales. Do you know what I mean? So they did enough to be able to win that game. It was 20-6, I think, in the early part of that game. So, one that got away for them. And if you're the Scottish, you're just lucky that your Six Nations dreams are still on. Because, if you lose that game and lose to Italy, you don't want to be in that changing room. So, lucky to get out of it and still be able to have a chance to play France and have your Six Nations hope still alive.
What Scotland team's going to turn up is they are a tough team. It's when you expect nothing of them, they put on a clinic, and then when you expect them to do a number on someone, God, it was tough to watch. It wasn't a great game.
No,
it was close, but it wasn't an entertaining spectacle. So I think both sides, well, they'll be disappointed. I think Scotland, even though they won, they'll still be disappointed that the Welsh will be hurting heavily.
The Welsh made 2 line breaks. But what is it with their attack? They just don't have right now the capability to break a team.
I think it's confidence as well. Like Brendan mentioned it there, they had 4 turnovers because they don't try anything. Like it's pretty one-dimensional, and I think they're so worried about making a mistake that they just are playing so within themselves. So I think not that it's in their DNA, but they've got to take charge somehow. Like if there's a quick tap, take it. Like just do something to try and make it unstructured, because it seems when they go into structured play that it doesn't really work for them.
Yeah.
And when it's unstructured and they get a good carry and they get across the gain line and then they shorten up defences, Adams's try is a good. I think they're even a man down then. It just shows what they can do. But when they're in that sort of structured one-off sort of carry runner. It's just not getting the dents they need. That is a real young pack as well. They're not the most physical pack. They'll get better. They'll be better for these experiences. But as you know, numbers 1 to 5 normally win your test matches. So they just need to get a few more gain line carries because they do have the speed. Like Lewis Rees-Zammit as well. Adams, they're all electric attacking players. They just can't be set a lot at the moment.
At the moment with that pack, probably just not the athletes of being able to get over the advantage line and being able to, have the likes of a, Tupo Vati or a good ball carrier that's able to get over consistently over the advantage line with that pack. And so, going to the kicking game is probably a big part of it, even though they only kick 25 times. But, hearing from other podcasts and being able to hear what they do value in Wales has been able to have that pressure cycle and being able to really put teams into the hurt locker. And, but when they do have their opportunities, they do have the likes of their outside backs of Rees-Zammit and being able to have Josh Adams. And when they do give them opportunities on the edge, one-on-one or in space, then they're able to score points. But, it's a little bit of the pressure game. It's probably a way that they'll be able to have a little bit of their DNA at the moment.
So we've got this week off now within this new structure of the Six Nations before we come back again in a few weeks' time to have Ireland versus Wales, Scotland versus France, and Italy versus England. So no Six Nations this weekend, which means a little less rugby to watch. We're watching a lot of footy. But before we carry on from that, we've had a bit of feedback, I suppose, about our conversation about the pass that went out to liner for Italy that was called forward that we didn't think forward. The comments section, a few people were like, no, that's a forward pass. So I thought I'd have a quick look because I think we've been through this before, but I think people still struggle with the whole concept, and partially because the laws of the game, 11.7 says a player must not intentionally throw or pass the ball forward. At no point does it mention back out of the hand or any of those things, but the way that it's refereed is it's not allowed to go forward out of the hand. And there's this thing called relative velocity, which basically means that every pass will go forward. And that's why you look at where the two players are when they're passing the ball. And that's why when the passer gets tackled and the person catching it keeps running, it looks like it's super forward, but it's not necessarily super forward. So, Jipper, as a player, what did you make of the forward pass thing? Is it something that players discussed often or really kind of cared about the visibility and the perception of whether a pass was forward or not?
No, the big thing was always back out of the hands. As long as you could show that it was going back out of the hand. I mean, that's at least how it was ref when I was playing. And I think the most recent example of Super Rugby, I think it was Akira and Rico Ioane. And remember, it got called forward and then they retracted that because even though it did go forward, it was backwards out of the hand. Do you remember that? It was a couple of years ago. So, I mean, there's been so many examples over time. I think the hard thing in the Italian one is, you need to see and it was sort of like a punch pass, and his hands were sort of not visible, so it sort of made it a little bit harder. But, I mean, I just didn't see it being deliberately thrown forward. Of course it drifted forward, but as you say, that's always going to happen whether it goes backwards or not.
Halfback Brunner, you do a bit of passing.
He just throws a bullet.
You just throw. You don't have to worry about it because the guys that you're going to, you're static and they're kind of behind you. So in most matters, it doesn't matter as a halfback. As
Jipper knows, I've got the real big follow through, so it's pretty clear around where my kind of ball is going. But I think to be able to try and help it, and it's really hard, right when you kind of look at that example with Liner, it's been able to have just a little bit more depth to be able to take it away from the referee. But at the same time, you want to be able to be somewhat flat to be able to get that ball from someone. But the only other solution would be have a little bit more depth, so then as a ball player you can see it's a little bit deeper, and then your follow through or your pass is going a little bit backwards. But yeah, at the time I thought that wasn't too bad. So, but maybe you just need to get that follow through. Ross, just go right through, just punch it straight through.
And that was intentional. You used to really overdo it.
Oh yeah, mate. As Jipper knows, man, I'm trying to break someone's hand. I always try to break someone's hand when they're trying to catch it. So
he goes real close as well. I tell you. Yeah. Oh, it hurts. 10 metres away from you. You don't need to trace a bullet. Just soften her up for me.
You're breaking fingers with
mate. Yeah. Honestly, when he's back, I'll get him to throw you one. It's horrific. And if you get your hand out and it slaps it, oh gosh. No good. First world problem, but
Yeah.
a problem nonetheless.
Right, and as a hooker, you weren't looking just to throw.
Oh no,
it.
it's exactly the same. You're just throwing an absolute bullet to the poor old locks, but
Yeah.
locks are tougher than hookers. So.
And they've got their hands open like that,
yeah.
so they got a bit
got
more
big
cushion.
mitts.